Category management. While previously a concept of the retail and consumer market, like many other good ideas, it has grown in use and sophistication. Never to pass up on a good strategy, the concept in recent years has been repurposed and is now a part of most industries. In its simplest form, category management in manufacturing is a process by which the elements of the finished product are broken down into groups of items, which are then labeled as categories. The beauty of this concept is that it can be employed in the most simplest to the most complex of processes. A very simple example that is easy to envision could be the manufacture of a pen. The pen in this example has two main components, plastic and ink. Each of these could be considered a category. Another example in the consumer products area of electronics might be televisions, and in the company that manufactures them, a couple of categories might be LCDs and also plastics. Now, don't get me wrong, I know nothing in depth about the retail or electronics industry. The closest I ever came was being a purchasing agent for a speaker manufacturer many years ago. What I am just giving you here are examples of breaking down the product elements into light groups that then become categories. The important part of this categorization is that the categories have sufficient spend and enough competition to warrant the effort and resources to launch a category management initiative. The difference in determining these lies in the depth the company goes into managing the categories it buys. The challenge for a company, say in the pipeline industry, for instance, may be that it has been focused on where they spend their money rather than what they spend it on. In order for them to do so would require a potential change in the classification currently being used in finance. It's important to remember that category management is not, as some people proclaim, a simple renaming of strategic sourcing. That is like finance believing that procure to pay replaces supply management. Nothing could be further from the truth. A topic for another session. Now, to be sure, category management is more than just looking at what the company spends on a given category. There are many other extenuating circumstances that could drive or stop the process. Looking at a high category spend also requires looking at several different elements before recommending a category management event. That look starts with the 5 W's: who, what, where, when, why, and 1 H, the how. These questions are very basic in nature. Who? Who do we currently purchase these categories from? The who uncovers two critical pieces of information. If you're purchasing from only one vendor, either the category is highly technical or the material in it is very expensive. Either answer could quickly move it from a category management process. What? What other products or services do we buy from these vendors? The what takes a deeper look at the material in the category to see if it requires splitting into more distinct subcategories, which may or may not warrant a category management event. Why? Why do we purchase them? The why helps to determine the reason these goods are purchased at all. Are they used in a specific event? Are they hard to find in the normal RFQ process? Do they have a shelf life that makes them a repeat item that prohibits buying in large quantities? When? When are these categories used? The when uncovers when these goods are used. Are they applicable to a maintenance event? Are they part of an inventory strategy? Or are they used only when another event occurs? Where? Where do we purchase them from? The where reveals if these materials are location sensitive, which may set off another set of discussions on the 5 W's. How? How do we buy them? The help helps you understand if these materials are required as part of an auto PO program with no strategic sourcing effort, or if they've been long-term vendors with long-standing relationships and contracts that have simply been rolled over year to year. So while these questions can help get you closer to a decision about a category management event, they can also omit some of the work that is required by taking some of the categories off the table. Now that you have a general understanding of what category management is, we'll cover the principles of it in future bite-sized learning lessons, so stay tuned.